Happy Friday, Matt Helbig. What's going on, my man?
What's going on? Happy Friday, emo geeks. You know, it's freezing here in Chicago. It's negative 40 degrees.
Is that for real?
It is for real. So we got an Envision email here. I know you're a big fan of them.
It's cool to see what these folks are able to pull together in email consistently. The most, hey, kitty cat, the most impressive emails I've seen out there. I just feel like consistently they're really pushing the boundaries, and this one's no different. So we're actually showing like full view this time around because I wanted to be able to show everybody what's going on. This cat is going to do this the entire time, so I'm going to pause. Right,
okay. Before we get started, I want to thank Email Monks for sponsoring this episode. Need help in creating really good email templates for your campaigns? Discover how Email Monks can make that happen in a snap. They are experts at designing and coding email templates at a great price. If you want to level up your email game, give Email Monks a try.
So as I was saying, I'm super excited about this email from InVision. This is actually a little bit of an older one, but it's really worth showing again. So a lot of the things that we talk about, every week about live text, about figuring out how to do things that are in brand, still readable, mobile responsive. Man, these guys, they hit every single mark on this. So let's look at a few of those things. So right off the bat, this email, one, it just gets the job done extremely quickly, right? Their design and finance conference live stream. You can RSVP, you know how to do that extremely quickly. You get right into that. CTA, they get in front of you, they let you know what it is very quickly. And then being able to see exactly when these dates are, know where it is, and read this initial text, and then be able to begin moving down through this email. Even just little details, as you start moving down, everybody's going to take the easy way out here and make these on the same table cell type of height. And they've just done this extra thing of zigzagging it here. It's as though really this is more of a website and what you'd expect in tech in a website rather than an email. And it just makes it so delightful. And it creates a great brand effect where I expect really fantastic work to come out of InVision. And I'm just super impressed by what they're doing there. Little things like they've actually added this piece to this image that falls outside the grid. And that just, there's so much about email coding that you think, no, don't do that. That's going to be too hard. Make it easy. And they go the extra mile, and I think it really, it shows. So I'm super impressed. What are some of the things that you're noticing, man?
Yeah, I mean, I love the really like black background. I have a love affair with dark looking emails. But yeah, there's like a lot of good little pieces. I mean, that background gift is super impressive. It's almost like a website for sure. It doesn't really distract you too much. It's just a good additive part to the rest of the email. As you said, a lot of the stuff is plain text. They really made an effort to really code these sections really thoughtfully. And this layout is a lot different than a lot of other emails that we might see in an inbox. Like, even though we don't really recommend 2-column all that much, like, I think this stuff really does work and uses the space effectively. But yeah, when it comes to little details like adding hover animations on different links within the email, and I think you mentioned before when we've talked about some of these emails, how this could just be like a throwaway email, but InVision taking the extra steps. Like how many, live stream webinar emails have we gotten that are just boring or maybe just have like the little circles of speakers. But this one really feels like an entire event and gets me excited about stuff. And this is something that I might forward to the rest of my team and get them excited and have them RSVP as well. So each of these pieces too, just really thoughtful and smart, really focusing on, content, image, people's faces. Yeah, simple. It doesn't really do too much else too. And I wonder too if their audience is even more B2B. So them trying to do something experimental is really cool to see.
It really is. It's all kinds of details. So I'm going to hit some design things here that I think, are things for people to think about. So, thing one, they start the email in a centered capacity, and then they go into 2-column left aligned, right? So that works because this live stream piece creates a horizontal that resets everything And then you've got this nice horizontal here, and you're able to move down through, into this left column approach. And it creates balance. Like balance in emails and in email design is so often overlooked. It can be so utility, and people are just pumping it out there. They put, too little text in a paragraph or something, and it just feels hard to scan and read. Notice that, I would actually say they probably did stuff like this on purpose. More text in the first paragraph, a little less, and then finally just a simple sentence. They seem to have thought about all these things. And I know some of these folks, and this is the kind of the way that they work. And then details like the background pattern being something that is an animation that of course is not going to work in an email client that is older, but that little touch, and then choosing for all of the little pieces to be falling in the exact same direction, for them to be small enough where they aren't distracting. There are only really 4 colors that I see in this email. And I think that's one of the things that really works well. You have white, you have essentially a black, a dark gray, and this pink. That limitation makes the email and the brand really work well. And so they've done a great job of reduce down to its like elemental thing. And so often people get that wrong. And then little details too, like the designer thought about this really carefully, like the spacing here between the photo and the typography, this first heading, and then the spacing between head of product innovation and InvestTech. That bit of spacing was very intentional, and it works very well so that you can quickly read his name. Then to, make these smaller, and they're actually not quite the same text color, little stuff like that. People overlook that all the time, but it's a marker that says this is craft. This is well thought of. Now, if your brand isn't about that, then you shouldn't spend time on that, right? Like the reason why it makes sense for InVision to do this is because that's what their brand is about. They want to be about design, because they're trying to facilitate people using their tool to be, a prototype tool. So there's a lot of opportunities there for that to be appropriate for their brand. If you're sending out emails for, shipping equipment or something like that, probably not the same need, right? Like this would be too designerly, and it would be maybe even distracting to somebody who's just wanting to get the information. So you design emails like this when it's appropriate for the given brand, and when that, communication is what you're looking for your audience.
Even though this could be a template, it doesn't feel like a template. Like I think it is nice, even though, we talk a lot about the benefits of having a consistent template throughout your brand, but this one feels like a one-off fun email. It's not just a plug and play. Okay, here's another event that we're going to do. Right. All these things in here. So this feels, very well thought out compared to a lot of the other webinar emails that we've seen. But because I think a lot of the B2B trends that we've seen too are people are opening emails, B2B emails on their phones. So I'd imagine this has a really good mobile view too as well. And especially with something like this, where you don't have to just tailor that audience for Outlook.
Right.
That GIF is going to fall back as a static image, and it's still going to look okay. This is a good example of what we think of a webinar or event email that is really good. We've been having a lot of fun looking at these emails that we think are best in class. This would be an example that we think meets all the requirements when it comes to a webinar or an event sort of email to send to any sort of audience.
Especially if you're going to be selling tickets, to a webinar, the time and expense of an email like this, it's not cheap. But I think that it helps sell it, right? So that's the bet, is if you can make a fantastic email like this and go the extra mile, especially if this email is about design, that's what you're trying to sell. Like go ahead and make it count, prove your point. So, as you do your webinar emails, like think about what the brand of the webinar is trying to convince about, and see if you can make an email that really takes that to the next level. Hopefully InVision folks, get a kick out of seeing it here. So there are more emails from InVision on the site that you can find when you look them up by company. Also, in case everybody doesn't know, you can actually go to the site and very easily go and get the code for this email so that you can see how they've done it. So one of the things we want to do at Really Good Emails is expose all this information so that people continue to grow and learn, and that we're doing a better job in our industry with sharing good information. So go check it out. In case anybody didn't know, we're throwing our own email conference called Unspam, and it's April 6 and 7 in Greenville, South Carolina. And if you have not come down here to the best part of the South, you need to make that happen. It's a great little city, and we're going to throw a good little party. Got some really good speakers coming. Also, just being a great group of people talking about just email. So we're super excited, really going to have a good time, learn a lot. So come on down.
Can I get tickets now? Where do I get tickets, Matthew?
Unspam.reallygoodemails.com. Looking forward to next Friday. And,
maybe I'll feel better by then, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, man. And maybe you can take off a blanket or two if the weather warms up.
For sure. Have a good Friday.
Right. See you, man.
If you have any feedback on the series, please leave a comment down below. Hit subscribe to keep up with future episodes. Thank you for giving a listen and letting our sponsors know you love Really Good Emails.